We've done like the messy Monday, but it's a Sunday. And I got all the kit and all that sort of stuff. I even did the squad photo, and then they photoshopped Bestie's head onto the body.
Hello and welcome to episode number 3 of the RugbyPass Offload show and podcast with me, Christina Mahin, and I'm here with Dylan Hartley and Simon Zebo. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
G'day, good evening.
How are we?
I'm okay. How's Zebes?
Pretty down in the dumps. Not easy to pick yourself up after a game like that. But yeah, I think we've got another big game this week, so it's we don't have too much time to dwell on it and feel sorry for ourselves. But yeah, it was a pretty shitty atmosphere after the game, and you can tell boys are still upset, and it's going to hurt for a long time, I'd imagine. So
probably hard for you as a teammate, but I thought Finn Russell wasn't uncharacteristically poor. He was just Finn Russell. Like when you pick Finn Russell, like he's going to stand flat and he's going to throw those passes and they're going to come off and you're going to break the gain line, go the length and score. So I had no problem with the way I had no problem, like I'm some sort of genius, but I had no issues with the way Finn was playing. He was just being Finn, which I love. Mm-hmm. I think your old mate Teddy though was having an absolute stinker, bless him. Mm-hmm. And it kind of cast me back to me in my younger days, probably like over trying, like one error, then doubles up on error, triples up on error, quadruples up. I don't think I've seen a player kind of double up on errors as consistently as him for so long. And me and Jamie were sitting up in the commentary thing, like looking down, and Max started warming up. And I think as a player, you know when you've had a bit of a stinker, and 20 minutes in, like you know when someone's warming up for you. Like his eyes must have seen that. And he actually started to pick up and start playing a little bit better. And I'm just so happy for his kind of mental state that he got through to halftime. Because like to be pulled off pre-halftime, I think it happened to me once in my career. It's kind of soul destroying, you know what I mean? But I think it's one of those calls that you got to make as a coach. And I'm just surprised that it didn't come earlier from your coaches.
Yeah, I was probably surprised a little bit too, yeah. Just because if you didn't have a knock or an injury before the game and you haul him off after 20 minutes, then you'd be like worried for his mental state and you'd be thinking that's a real shot, you know, like that's not having a lot of confidence in him. But the fact that it just didn't go his way that first 20 and you just got to cut off the toe to save the legs, you know what I mean? That kind of job. Like if it's not going, it's not working for you, you just got to pull him off. But I know pride comes into it and you want him to turn it around, but if he's just not right, he's not right. So probably in hindsight, it's easier to say that he should have came off, but like the man's a genius. Like he can pull out two passes and it could be 2 tries and he could make up for his errors in the first 5-10 minutes. So it's a hard one to call, but in hindsight, yeah, he probably should have came off a little bit earlier.
Well, there was 2 tries from you, Simon. You were playing extraordinarily well, but you came off with 15 minutes to go. Were you injured? Were you fatigued? Or was it a tactical decision?
Yeah, I was cramping. I was cramping up a bit, you know, and coach saw me stretching a few times with about 60 or 65 minutes or 60 minutes. Yeah, coach had saw me stretching and gave me, are you okay? Like thumbs up or thumbs down? And I was like, no, I'm okay. It was just in between play. I was trying to stretch it out a bit. And obviously it's a final. If I have to sprint, I'll sprint, you know. I didn't want to come off for cramp, you know. I felt like I could go again and get a third, you know. I was feeling confident, you know, when you're in a good groove or in that mood, I suppose, which is quite unfortunate. But Curtly's world class and he's such an asset to have in our team. So bringing him off the bench isn't a loss in any way, shape or form. It's just I would have preferred to have maybe shifted to the wing or him to come on at 12 or to have gotten a few minutes playing together in the final. And yeah, I think it would have probably been a bit better.
Because you guys got back into that game, like well and truly, like you completely flipped the scales. Was it half-time kind of addressing keep the ball, build phases? Because that's what we saw from where we were sat. If you just kept the ball and didn't force it, you guys were so effective.
That's the way it was, yeah. We felt like when we were getting in through phases, we were putting them so much under pressure and we were seeing the spaces, getting there, and you know, like one stage we had a grubber kick that tried to go through, and you turn around and we're defending a 5 meter line out. You know, if we just hold on to the ball in these situations and don't get a little bit, I suppose, nervy or whatever. But there were the messages. Yeah, just hold on to the ball, and we're stressing them so much. It was, it was very annoying. Even when we were 14 points down or whatever, we just felt like if we hold on to the ball, we'll get it back. Wasn't enough in the end. A few decisions didn't go our way, but yeah.
Come on, let's get into that decision, mate. Jamie Roberts was kicking the chair in front of him, screaming for I don't know which player it was, but to roll away. It affected that clear out. But I'm kind of screaming before that, thinking, you know, we talked about drop goal the week before on here, and it was kind of primed for that, and it wasn't taken. So I don't know, like, it shouldn't have come down to those last few minutes to win or lose that game. You know what I mean? There was so many chances in the game, but again, we're left thinking, would a drop goal have sealed that?
I love Finn's mentality, though. You know, it's always to score. You know, he was fully confident that we were going through the phases and we were going to score. And looking back on the video, it's even worse because the amount of space Louis de Pichot had on the outside. If we get the pass off a 9, but you know, when you're that close, as you know yourself, being a forward, getting that extra inch over, you feel like you can.
I'm not letting that go. I'm like, the
Exactly.
backs muck this up. Every time it comes out of here, the ball gets past 5 meters backwards, then another 5 minutes. You like lose 10 meters, and the backs always muck it up. They always muck it up. So there's a massive trust issue there.
Yeah, I know. And one pass goes, and we run one in on the edge. But if that ball goes to the floor, then you know what the forwards are going to say. So Finn was, you know, I had actually spoken with Finn the week before watching that Aussie New Zealand game, and we were saying we'd both take the drop kick. Like, you know, that seemed like the right option at the time. But yeah, we just thought we were going to score, and it's hard. It's a hard one. If we miss that drop kick, we reckon, you know, that's probably game, you know. And you have two pros then. You either get a penalty from ensuing the pressure or you score a try. So it's kind of 2 versus 1. And I know he's in a good position to take the kick, but you back Finn all day with his decision to keep playing and get either a penalty or a try. So as again, hindsight, you know, it's easier to say now, but I wish I was on the pitch. I probably would have slotted back into the pocket.
What did you both make of the exchange between Nigel Owens and his TMO at the end?
Yeah, it was a bit strange. I was off the pitch, so I wasn't in the earshot of what was being said and things like that. But I think it was probably a few decisions earlier that went against us that probably upset the forwards and the team a bit more. Like, Nigel's one of the best referees around, and he's amazing, and he has 2 touch judges as well, and he has a TMO to help him. Doesn't fall on Nigel's lap, but there was a maul we had with 5 meters out, and it's even harder to look at now. But the forwards they're scoring a try with 4 minutes left, or I don't know his name, but the baldy guy for Exeter, a part of the maul breaks off, and he couldn't come in the side anymore, you know, and take down our maul, and that just kills our momentum. And then after that, you have the issue with Sam Hidalgo, where Anthony Claassen reaches out and they get the penalty, whether he comes in from the side or whether it's over the line, should be a scrum to us or whatever. There's loads of different interpretations, but the 5 meter maul where they come in from the side and collapse, that was just a killer. And it's the difference, you know, it's the difference between us having a star in our jersey or them having a star in their jersey. We just very disappointed by that. But we're not saying it's Nigel. There's plenty of eyes there. There's 2 touch judges, Nigel and a TMO. So that was very, very disappointing, yeah.
I think naturally everyone looks to like 1 or 2 decisions in the game that define the result. But like, you're right in saying that there's so many kind of moments in that game for you to win or lose that game. You know, if you eradicate that opening 20 minutes, you win that game.
Absolutely.
You're not looking at the ref, a ref's decision in the kind of closing 5 minutes of the game. So I think Christina was talking about the final sort of words between the ref and the touchies on the last 5 seconds of the game, was saying, Were you pitch side for that? Did you hear what happened there?
No, I was on the sideline. I was just looking at the clock thinking we're going to go for a quick drop off and try and get the ball back. And, you know, it might seem like, an impossible task, but if we win that ball, we can score from anywhere, you know, like that's pretty dangerous for Exeter if we get the ball back there. So
even at that moment, I was going, right, like Finn Russell will do something here.
Absolutely.
Like, I was thinking the game is still there for Exeter to lose. Like Russing can still do this.
My God, if we had that chance, like, I know the public will say the game was over, but we can score from anywhere, and that's the weird thing, I suppose, or upsetting. But yeah, I don't have a clue. I still don't know what happened with the clock or what the issue was.
Do you reckon we could stop making Simon relive this, Christina?
Yeah, I think I've got one more. Well, I have one more question just to ask you about what was maybe said in the dressing room afterwards.
Yeah, after it was just a lot of disappointment. It was just silent for 5 or 6 minutes, which is a long time. Toto, our head coach, spoke a little bit, going back to the first 20, and we were probably still in the change room, all of us as a team, not just putting the blame on any one player. But yeah, it was very disappointing. And then afterwards, our president came in and spoke and just said how disappointed we all were. But the good thing about the club is that, you know, there was no finger pointing, there was no blame, nothing. You know, we win together and we lose together, and we feel like we're there. Like, we feel like we're the best in Europe, you know, when we're on our day, and we just don't have a start to show for it, which is disappointing. But it was just a few things that just didn't go our way. You know, it was like it just wasn't meant to be. That high tackle on Juan Nimhoff there, where we're running out, he nearly takes his head off. That's a red card, you know.
Not even a yellow. And any other day, it's crazy. We
just couldn't believe it, you know. And it just wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't meant to be.
But isn't it mad that with a minute to go, like, it's still a point in it, and it's not even meant to be. So it's just, again, I just thought it was a great game for the average supporter. I'm just really sorry that you're having to relive it, Simon, you know?
I know. And to be honest, I've watched this probably about 5 times again since. That's the only thing you can do, you know, is just, at least the pain is fresh, and we're going straight into the season. You know, we don't have holidays, we don't have pre-season, you know, there's none of this. Like, we're jumping straight back into a European season in top 14, and yeah, the pain is just very, very fresh, and we don't want what happened to happen again. So
you had the name Axel on your wristband in the final. Talk to us about the relationship with Axel Foley and what the anniversary meant to you.
Axel was on my wrist, yeah. He was with me, hopefully. Well, I like to think he was with me in the game. I had a great relationship with Axel. He had coached me since I was 19 years of age. So started under 20s and all the way to senior. And we had a very close relationship, yeah. He had a very similar, I suppose, in some certain ways in terms of fun and things like that. And yeah, it was the day before the final was his 4-year anniversary of his passing. So like he was really a mentor for me. He probably preferred a different style of rugby than myself, a more confrontational style, but he'd be the first person to tell me to express myself. And especially that's so important when you're coming through the levels and you're coming up, and you know, you have people doubting you or saying, oh, you can't play a certain way or X, Y, and Z. And he just always told me to be myself. And we had a really, really strong relationship. And he left a big mark on my rugby, I suppose, but on my life as well. So
we're going to talk about the Guinness Premiership final this Saturday. It's Exeter against Wasps, but Bristol are on standby after 8 Wasps players and 3 members of staff had positive COVID results. Can Wasps challenge, or is this Exeter's to lose?
Depends how. I just think that kind of momentum and that belief for Exeter is there. I think it's Exeter's to lose. I don't think Exeter would have had a parade this week. I don't think they would have had a massive or overt kind of social celebration. I think they're pretty well focused. You know, the opportunity that presents themselves to do the double, to do the double, I think will spur them on in terms of motivation. Wasps have been brilliant out of COVID. Even pre-COVID, they were shaping up nicely. But again, Exeter have been to the very end with Racing, that experience on how to close that game out, how to win that game. If we just forget about those refereeing things that Big Nige missed there. But I think it's definitely Exeter's to lose, and I don't think they're going to lose it. They can't. The drive and the ambition, the motivation's there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, we have a couple of questions for you from some people on social media. Dylan, there is a question for you on Instagram.
Yeah, I've seen it in the brief, all right? And I've seen the bloke on Instagram. I've seen him asking it.
Okay, well, let me just ask it. I know you've got your answer already prepared for this.
I'll tell him now. Just buy the bloody book and then he can read all about it.
Oh, no. That's why you're on this podcast. So what was running through your head the moment Wayne Barnes sent you off in the Premiership final?
Okay, so when he actually sent me off, it was a moment of disbelief, actually. I could not believe. I knew what was happening. That was big. It almost went like slow motion. It's like my whole world was ending, because getting sent off. Yellow cards are right. Because yellow card, you just jog off and you're going to come back on, hopefully. So the quicker you actually get off for a yellow card, I learned this, the time starts. So you get off the field as sharp as. But red card, it's like the slowest walk of your life. Yeah, I knew the impact that had. It was Northampton's first ever final in the Premiership. It was against our rivals with Leicester. That season had been, perfect for us. We were flying. So, off the back of that, I'd let down not only the team but like the town. And I say like the town because the rugby club here in Northampton is the town. It is like a pillar in the community. People kind of convene there, they meet there, and that's why it's so important. And then, like, personally, I'd been to the Lions camp the week before. We'd done like the messy Monday, but it's a Sunday. And I got all the kit and all that sort of stuff. I even did the squad photo, and then they photoshopped Bestie's head onto my body. So, like, I wasn't even thinking about that. It was just pure disbelief, if I'm honest. It's a pretty long walk of shame. I went straight to the change rooms and had a moment with myself. Halftime obviously happened, and I thought the easy thing to do here is just to sit in and, I even thought about getting like a taxi home, just out the fire escape kind of situation. But I thought the right thing to do is just to front up and sit on the bench, full well knowing that I'm going to have every camera poked in my face and all the photographers were there. And then at the end of the game, I easily could have just shied away from not getting the losers medal and confronting my teammates. But I thought I've got to front up here. But I did the right thing. Obviously did the wrong thing to get sent off, but I did the right thing in my mind as a teammate and as a bloke to front up and get on with it. It wasn't easy, but then I obviously had views and thoughts, and there was an avenue to challenge that decision. But being the grubby kid that I was, it wasn't the situation to do it in. The Lions tour had already started. I wasn't really going to catch up on that tour. I rang Warren Gatlin and just said, crack on without me. I'm just going to take what's given. Because you got to remember, like me challenging the ref, the refs employed by the RFU, the disciplinary is the RFU. There was no way I could win that. And there's actually a moment there where Wayne Barnes actually said he saw me call him an effing cheat. And if you kind of freeze frame when the words were muttered, I did say those words, but not aimed at him. He's actually looking the other way. So if we went to like Crown Court, if this was like an actual serious case in the court of law, like I could have got that thrown in the bin. But I just thought it's too big a story. I'd had played a lot of rugby that season. And if anything, whenever I got suspended, I actually saw it as like a sabbatical and a chance to rest my body. So must have went to Los Angeles and had a nice holiday.
I love LA.
And I watched the Lions tour and I enjoyed all that. But yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things that I had to go through. But yeah, interesting. Buy the book, read all about it.
The Guinness Six Nations resumes this weekend. Ireland are fourth in the table, but only 4 points behind England and France with a game in hand. Italy and Dublin on Saturday, then France and Paris for the Super Saturday the following week. Simon, have you had any contact with Andy Farrell after your performance at the weekend?
No. That still remains, up in the air or whatever. It's the same old story. I doubt it'll change anyway. They seem fairly stuck in their ways and wanting to just pick players who are playing in Ireland. So power to them. And as I said before, I have a good relationship with Andy. So if he doesn't pick up the phone, it's okay. I wish them all the best, and I'm an Irishman first. I hope they win. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens and see how they go. They have some new young guns coming in. But yeah, they're. I fancy them to do well against Italy anyway, regardless. And it'll be a tough ask coming to Paris, but without fans at the game, it's just going to be who's the better team. So,
have you been chatting to any of the Munster guys in Irish camp at the moment?
But not too much on camp. They've just been saying, that the training's been quite good and quite tough. And they have a real mixed selection. Usually in the past, you'd be able to tell on a Monday even what the team was going to be for a Saturday. But none of the boys seem to know.
I love that story about like the boys aren't too clear on who's playing, because you're right. Usually you got bibs and you got non-bibs, and people kind of know. We went to about Thursday one week, and I actually had to go to Eddie and say, mate, the boys, we kind of need to know the team. He's like, oh shit, have I not named the team? Yeah. And the next day we go down, this is a Friday, and he had laid out the bibs on the floor, 1 to 8, 9 to 15, like from a scrum. And he goes, right, I haven't named the team. Go stand where you think you should be.
Wow.
So like the boys kind of all shuffled into place, and I almost misheard the thing. Like I just assumed me and Jamie George would meet at the number 2 bib, but Jamie had walked to the 16 bib. I walked to the 2 bib. He goes, right, that's the team. And we were just like, what? But he always kept it on edge. He didn't want people to get comfortable, because I've seen it with guys before. Like they get told Monday and then they take it easy in training. He just wanted it all the way up to the game to be competitive he wanted everyone pushing each other. But yeah, the amount of times I had to kind of ask him to name the team and to let people know where they stand for synergy. Like we kind of needed to train as a starting unit and a finishing unit. We just needed to know. But he was so relaxed about it. It's great.
My gosh.
I don't know if I'd recommend it.
That's crazy.
That stand on your jersey stories. That's ballsy.
Yeah.
I'd be straight to the 10 jersey.
I fluked it. I got another cap out of that just by standing by the
Fair play.
Can you believe that Jones didn't pick Bath scrum half Ben Spencer?
Yeah, I think it comes back to that Moneyball style thing. It's like Conor Murray and Cooney. It's like, I know Ben Young's, he's on like 99 tests. Like Eddie probably wants to get him to 100, but in that position, like Ariba, you want someone with a cool head experience, especially when there's 6 nations to go and win. Do you want an experienced player, or do you want to take a punt? I'm not saying taking a punt on Spencer is a massive risk, because he's been involved with that team and that squad for a while, but Eddie knows what he's going to get from Ben Youngs. And coming out of COVID, where international rugby's been on hold for 8 months, do you want to start with players that you know, or do you want to go in cold? And especially when England can win this tournament. They just need to pump Italy, and then Ireland need to win both games with 5 points in the bag. So I kind of see it as England's tournament to lose. And if I was a head coach, you'd go tried and tested, experienced, and I think in a key position like 9 and 10, that's exactly where you want your experience.
On to the second Bledisloe Cup contest, with New Zealand defeating Australia 27-7 at Eden Park. Australia missed 40 tackles. That's obviously not going to end well against the All Blacks. How impressive was Caleb Clark, guys?
I reckon at least 50% of those 40 tackles were probably spent on Caleb Clark.
Yeah.
How good's that guy? How impressive is he? Like, I know we love to build people up, but like just another kid coming out of New Zealand. Like they seem to produce one of these guys every year or every 2 seasons. Like you think like Julian Savia was that sort of impact of a winger, and all of a sudden there's like this new kid and world star. You know, like I don't want to say, you know, people comparing him against Jonah, which is not fair, but like, have you heard his interviews? Like he's so well spoken, so humble, like just impressive all around.
Yeah, he is. He's very, very impressive. He seems to be way ahead, way mature beyond his years. My God, when he gets ball in hand, though, that he's devastating. Like it's been a long time since I've seen someone with that speed and power, and just confidence to either run straight at someone, around them, through. It doesn't matter. Now, Australia weren't the best. I thought there was 1 or 2 balls he got. There was one big run he made where James O'Connor threw a kick up with a prop chasing it, and it just went 40 yards into the air with, you know, it was just useless. So you can be made to look good in situations like that, but he is a hell of a player, and he'll be, I'd say, a big feature for the All Blacks for a long time to come. Yeah, he's a hell of a player.
I did hear something like he had a conversation with his father, and his father just said to him, just enjoy it, and secondly, just do your job really well. And I was thinking that when you look at the All Blacks, when they've been so successful consistently, they all just do their jobs so well, and it frees everyone else up to just do their jobs really well.
Yeah.
And it makes kids like that look absolutely brilliant. Have you just seen the highlights of him, or have you watched his game?
No, I've watched 1 or 2 full games. Yeah.
Because I was going to say it's easy for everyone to jump on the wagon, right? A couple of big hustling runs and defenders beaten and whatnot, but like positional play, like his defensive involvement, is he the full package, or is he's obviously going to have things to work on, but
he's not there yet. Yeah, for sure. If you're talking backfield coverage, positioning, etc. But yeah, I'd rather have to learn that than to learn how to beat someone one-on-one or to do these amazingly freakish runs. But that all will come to him with experience, you know, like how to read body language off of 10s when they're shaping to kick, when they're shaping to run, all these things. They take time. Only experience and test level experience gives that experience to these young kids. So for sure, he is an incredible talent, but there's always room to improve. If you're coming up against wiry 10s, or, you know, really, really intelligent 10s, say Faz or Johnny Sexton and these guys, they'd be able to pick him out, I'd say, as opposed to, you know, James O'Connor is a wing, a centre, fullback playing 10 at the moment, you know, even though he is the form 10 for us. He could be cut out a bit more if there was a more.
You don't put up loose kicks to the big man with plenty of time to catch it and run it back. You put up contestable kicks.
Absolutely.
To negate the big man.
I couldn't believe it when it happened. There was only a prop on the outside chasing it. There was like zero communication when that went up, and you could just see that was a very inexperienced play by a fellow who doesn't play 10.
Well, that's it from us this week. Thanks to Simon Zebo and Dylan Hartley, and thank you for listening. More offloading next week. Make sure you are subscribed to us wherever you get your podcasts so you get the show as soon as it's released. And please leave us a rating and review, and don't forget to check us out on YouTube as well. Thanks, guys.